What's going on, boys? Mike here, back with another video. Today, guys, you're maybe looking at the title like, what the hell? The devs took a dub for once. That's exactly what I'm going to be talking about in this video, along with some other things like the community and also future updates and the past updates. So with that being said, just a quick little thing. If you're wondering where all my content is at, it's over by Twitch. Links down below. I do bunch of other games there and I face cam all that stuff. Anyways, I love doing videos like this for the fact I do it once in a while. The last time I did a video like this was when Operation Resurgence just got released into the game. Now, if you guys remember when that happened, there was so much backlash on that community, or not on the community, but from the community on the developers because of how people didn't like the update. What the hell was animations, the faces on the people? Like, it was so much to take in. And I don't know how long ago that was. I think that was like a year ago, around Christmas time, or 2 years. I think it's been a year though. No, I think it's been 1 year since Operation Resurgence came out. I just want to say, I want to revisit that real quick. Now, a lot of that update was because the developers wanted to set themselves up for the future for the game, meaning that the way I remember Nar was explaining it was because the coding or something wasn't like adaptable, or like they were trying to make it easier on themselves to develop the game for the future, so they had to like scrap up a lot of the stuff and start from the bottom again and build up the game. And I'm pretty sure that was the core of Operation Resurgence. Now, from Resurgence being released and now, a lot has also changed, and I want to mention a couple of updates here. You have RGE, you have the quest, and then I would say the last update. Even though the last update wasn't that major, I would say the feedback and overall opinions of that update makes it a major update. You're probably wondering why I've left out a lot of other updates. The only argument I could see is the revamps of locations. That was major. I will say that was major. But I want to touch on the three that I mentioned. I'm going to forget about weapons being added, uniforms being added. I'm going to be honest, I don't care for them. The reason being, that doesn't change the game. It really doesn't. I'm going to be honest. Nar could bring out so many more weapons and the player count would, yeah, maybe change for like 2 weeks and then it'll drop back down to like 1,000 or whatever, right? That's just usually how it goes. When he brings out a feature update or he brings out a significant update that can make the player base last and be consistent for a very long time, that's how you know it's a good update, right? When you bring in new weapons, when you bring in new uniforms, wow, so cool. Weapons gets added, uniforms get added. Next thing you know, they don't care after a week because they already played it out, right? They already used the weapon and then it has no more use, right? My point being, when you have updates like Quest, RGE, and you have the last one, that changes the game. And I would say, off of the last update, that was probably the first dub the devs took in a long time. I'm gonna be honest, I usually back up the devs a lot, but obviously me not playing the game, it could be just me not having interest in Roblox anymore, I'm gonna be honest. But also, I felt like the game has lost its touch. It's not the same like the OGs, right? I would play the game a lot on PvP because I could do it over and over and over again. There was raid mode. Yeah, you play it a couple of times, cool when it first came out, but gets repetitive. PvP for some reason didn't get repetitive up until like last year or maybe a year and a half, right? I'm not sure what changed PvP, but it just didn't hit the same like it used to. So many people would be into that. There would be competitive leagues. There'd be people doing ranked. There'd be people always on 5v5. Now when you queue up for 5v5, you're probably seeing the same people over and over and over, right? The thing is, the game needs to be played with multiple people. Doing quest, I will say, did help the game. I personally didn't like it, but I could see others liking that. RGE was a huge hit for the game. I love that he brought out RG. That was probably the last dub they took before this one. All right. In between there, I wouldn't say they took dubs at all. I felt like they lost a lot of their OG guys. They lost a lot of their loyal fan base. And the only players playing their game right now would probably be the new players. And then they'd grow up to be 5 stars. They play it for a little more, and then they quit. New player comes and replace them. That's just how the cycle goes for BRM 5. Now, the reason I would say that's the first dub in a while for the developers, I would say the last one, like I said, was the RGE one. It's just the game gets so boring and so repetitive, and it's like it's lost its touch. The loyal players can't even play the game over and over anymore. It'll just get boring. Now, the reason why I like this last update a lot was because it united so many players together. That's what we love. That's the type of stuff we want to see. We love to see game modes, and I hope they bring out some new game modes. People are speculating the zombies game mode. I'm pretty sure it's on the home screen. I don't even know. Even me, I don't even touch this game a lot. I used to, but not anymore. I would argue if they bring out new game modes like the zombies one, that could be a huge hit. Why? Because you could probably play it on a repetitive level for a while, and then maybe it'll get boring, but then you'll have open world, you'll have some PvP, and speaking of PvP, they have to bring out a 10v10. They have to. I'm telling you, if they don't bring out a 10v10, this game is doomed. This game is genuinely doomed unless they bring out another PvP game mode that isn't a 10v10. But I would say this game is doomed if they don't do anything like that. Only for the reason, the more game modes they bring out, and the more you could have a variety to play, the more consistent and higher their player base will be. That is only because when their update comes out, a lot of the old players come back to test it out, see how it is, and then they just end up leaving again. That's because those updates usually are the ones that come out with content. I don't really like these content updates with new weapons, new uniforms, attachments. We don't really care for it. Now, I could be wrong, some people do, right? But I would say, what are you going to do, raid Desert Base for the like 5,000th time with a different attachment? Wow, that's going to really change the experience of that player. I would argue updates like what they just did does change the experience of players, and that's what they need more of. Now, I'm not saying don't bring out new guns, don't bring out any of that. Yeah, they can bring it out, but once in a while. We're not trying to see this update, like back-to-back updates of new weapons. No one's trying to see that. I just want to point out, when I mention the weapons update, I'm really talking about the quality of life update, or like usually what NAR does, and I've noticed this, you'll have like a little significant update, then he'll just push it with a bunch of random weapons getting added, minor uniforms, fixes, all that. And I'm gonna be honest, yeah, we do need that at times, but you're gonna need to work more on those feature updates. I know these guys are watching it, and I mean these guys as in the developers. Put your time, and I am not saying you aren't putting your time towards it. I would say put more time towards those feature updates, game modes, because when you have a variety of things in your shop, you attract more customers, right? So if you have a variety of game modes, you're gonna attract more people. Not everyone's a PvPer, not everyone's a PvE guy or open world, whatever you want to call it, right? But when you have variety, you combine the fan bases together, that increases your community count, right? That increases your player base. So if you have a zombies game mode, if you have a deathmatch game mode, if you have an objective game mode, if you have open world, think of all those different type of players that are going to enter your game and play it over and over, because there's so much to choose from, right? If you only restrict yourself to the open world, you only restrict yourself to 5v5, and then you have the zombies, right? That's really good. I'm gonna be honest. You do have 3 things going for you, but why not add more? Why not add a variety to it? And players, I bet you could check the stats. Players probably love it too. Look at how many players you've gained from PvP, but also look at open world too, right? The thing with open world is there's only so much you could do over and over and over. PvP, you could do it over again. I mentioned it before. Look at Phantom Forces. Look at these top games. Notice what they're doing. Phantom Forces has different objectives within that game. Even though it's the same thing you're doing over and over, they have different game modes, right? PvP for this game needs to do the same thing. Have a 5v5, have a 2v2, have a deathmatch. Think of something that could draw players back to your game over and over. You want a returning customer. You don't want a one-time customer, because that kind of hurts your game, right? This game is great at attracting players. It just has a terrible retention rate, and what that means, it can't hold much players. It's great at bringing them in, but it's almost like a loophole. There's like a drainage, right? There's water being added in, but it just keeps draining out. And the reason I mentioned this video that the devs took a dub is because last update was great. That attracted a lot of players, and I bet players were doing that over and over because of how fun it was, right? The thing with these weapons updates, such low like quality updates, is like you play it once and it's done. I'm gonna be honest, that needs to just be like once in a while. And I know those updates, like the last update, is probably hard to work on, but put your time towards it, and I guarantee you'll see so much more success bringing in these new updates, like these game modes and stuff. I'm looking forward to the zombies game mode. I'm looking forward to hopefully a new PvP game mode where it's like 10v10, deathmatch, something. Shock us, dev team. I want to see you guys do well. Honestly, you probably get tired of watching these videos sometime. I'm not gonna lie. It's almost like the same thing with the game modes, but it's like, when are we gonna see something like it though? Like, I'm just waiting for that update to come out where it's like, oh my god, I'm gonna wake up to see like a 10v10, but that's gonna hold your game for so long. And I know it's hard, but you know, good rewards, good stuff in life comes at a cost, right? What's the sacrifice? Giving you guys a little motivational talk, but that's just how it's gonna be, bro. You're gonna have to work around that lag. You're gonna have to figure out a way, but I'm sure you guys do it. I'm telling you, since day one, I've seen so much potential in this game. But I've said enough. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.